Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the Cat Crafty Knits Podcast. Can't believe we're on episode 10. In some ways it feels like I've been doing this for ages now, and in other ways that's gone really, really quick. And there's been several times actually I've thought about maybe stopping doing it because not many of you watch. But likewise, I quite enjoy just chatting, well, basically to myself, but to you guys. So while there's still a couple of you here, then let's keep going, shall we, for now? It is Thursday the 5th of December, and where has this year gone? Can't believe we're in December already. It's been such a crazy last few months that, the days and weeks seem to be galloping by and I'm barely keeping up. I think we're more or less sorted for Christmas now, but that's been a mad dash in the last probably week, frantically buying stuff and hoping that that's enough to cover off Christmas. I've still got my mum to buy for, and my brother and my stepdad, but I think they're the last three. The kids have been terribly spoiled. They are definitely sorted now. So I think we're getting there. I always panic buy something at the end, and it's also Pippa's birthday just after Christmas. So that always adds an extra layer of craziness to, the time. I don't know if I'm going to do a cake this year. I mean, actually, I say that I'm going to have to do a cake because I do a cake every year. It's almost like a self-inflicted thing than even as something that she expects. But she both will expect it, and I will also do it just because I've done it every year and I have to do it. But we're away for her birthday this year. We're going on a weekend, all Pippa orientated weekend, so we're not actually here for her birthday, which is why I was thinking I might not do a cake, but I'm just going to end up taking it with me, aren't I? I'm going to have to apologise for the light today. Actually, I wasn't sure what the lighting was like in my last episode, but looking back at the footage, it looked an awful lot better than it did on my camera screen that I'm looking at now. So hopefully that will be the same this time, but the weather is absolutely horrendous out there today. I drove home about an hour or so ago and the roads were just almost flooded in places. It's really wet, really miserable, really grey. And this is just our winter now. But on the upside though, actually, and you would have seen in the pre-video that I've already edited, that we had snow a couple of weeks ago. That was really exciting. The kids had a snow day, which then meant I also had a snow day. And we just had fun. We made 2 snowmen. I think there's only one in the video. Or is there 2? I can't remember now. Anyway, I made 2 snowmen and we had a really good, nice time. The days after wasn't so fun because actually this country is not ready for snow when it comes. The roads are always awful. We live quite rural and we live on the top of a hill. Our village is on top of a hill. And more or less any way out of the village, you need to go down a hill, and it's been icy. A couple of days after, my car wouldn't start. So that is not so fun bit of snow, but the kids love it. And actually, if we could have a snow day on Christmas Day like we had a few weeks ago, snowed all night, snow in the morning, snowmen, and then the sun came out in the afternoon and it was glorious. If we could have that on Christmas Day, that'd be lovely. Thank you very much. That's not going to happen though. Anyway, I'm now rabbiting about stuff completely unrelated to knitting, and actually I'm here with what hopefully will be quite a short episode this time. I hope not to rabbit forever. I actually have some knitting. I have some knitting to show you. It sounds ridiculous to say it like that because this is meant to be a knitting podcast, but actually I've been really knitting light on the last few episodes. But I have made some progress on some things. So what have I got to show you? I have a new cast on which also has a hoe, half object, spoilers. I have lots of progress on a project you have seen before and almost a finished object, but not quite a finished object, which you've also seen before, which you'll see as well. So shall we get started? I'm going to start with what I'm wearing. What am I wearing? I mean, no guesses really, because I've shown this jumper off a million times on this podcast now, haven't I? This is my Over the Ocean sweater. It's a pattern by me. Go buy it if you like it, please. Yeah, not an awful lot more to say about that really, because let's be honest, I've banged on about it enough and you don't need to hear about it again. So yeah. The yarn is Otter and Papoose, and it was a special colourway that she dyed for this jumper for me to design with, and it was called Siren Song. And last time I checked, she still had some in her Etsy store. In fact, actually, I think she's got her own website now too, which is very exciting. So yeah, if you particularly like the colourway, you might be able to still get hold of it, although I don't know if that's old news now. Go find out. Yeah, so let's talk about one of the projects you would have seen and is almost finished. I want to call a finished object, but isn't a quite finished object. You don't come here for like succinct, coherent, slow talking podcast, do you? Well, I hope not anyway, because I know I natter on, I know I speak too quickly. And hopefully that just means you don't have to speed me up when you watch me if you don't want to take forever to watch an episode, because I'm already that quick already. I know some people watch their podcasts. I think my husband does this with some podcasts he watches about cars and stuff, where he will put them on like 1.5 speed or 2 times speed because he gets bored, or he wants to get them over and done with quicker. But let's be honest, you don't need to speed me up anymore. So yeah, first thing I'm going to show you is my sock tube. And my sock tube now has one toe and has been completely knit and has another toe at the other end. How ridiculous is this thing? But yay, I finished the main stripes. I got the toe on the other side. So my next job to do is work out where halfway is, chop it in half, what I might do is I then might keep those stitches on hold and actually then put the heels in first, because these are for my husband, and I think by the time we've got them halved and then got his heel in the right place, I think the leg of the sock is going to be a bit shorter than I would normally do for him. And I expected that because this was just a 50-gram skein of self-striping. So I knew it was going to be shorter than normal. But actually, it would also be quite nice to try and use as much of the contrast colour as possible. I think I brought it up. That one there. And then, basically with the ribbing at the top of the at the top of the leg, I can knit that, like split it in half and knit that until I run out. But obviously I don't want to do that before I've got the heel in and used what I need to for the heel. So I think that might be the way I do it. So yeah, I will probably, if I get chance, I might not get chance actually. I was going to say I might try and do it won't be a tutorial or anything because I've not really done this before, but just do a take you along with me snippet of footage on this. And yeah, you can watch me cut up my sock and put the bits in when they need to. The only thing I say is that might not happen because the likeliness is the only chance I get to do it is when the kids are in bed. And with the kids in bed, it's dark and probably won't be able to film. But we'll see how that goes. I think my husband's messaging me. Yeah, nothing interesting. He's talking about the weather. So yeah, that's that one. I've also just remembered, and I can't believe I forgot this. This is the most enormous thing that's been going on in my life recently. And I forgot that I could even show it. And that is my shawl. I have finished my shawl. So I think I'm going to go get that now. Get that over and done with. I mean, it's going to be really difficult to show because it's absolutely enormous. It ended up being bigger than I kind of intended it to be. But I will show you that there is life in my shawl. It does exist and it is finished. And yeah, let's do that next. Right, my shawl. I'm not going to put this on because it is enormous and it takes a minute to get it to look really nice. Plus I haven't got the ends knotted at the moment, but maybe I'll do that in a second. So it's folded in half at the moment. But hopefully you can see on this how much. Oh, that's better, isn't it? Get it against the wall there. So this is one lace band. See how that comes together there. And then this is the end. Let's go up the other lace band. Doesn't it look so much better now it's blocked? Like, I can't remember how much I showed this unblocked, like specifically the lace. But can you just see how much that's opened up? I'm so pleased with that. Hopefully that's focused. Yeah, so you have, so it's an end-to-end shawl, if you don't already know. I should probably also tell you its name. This is the Laneland Shawl. Again, I forget that this might be the first episode you've seen of me natter away. I mentioned this shawl in most episodes, so that's why it's just like commonplace that I chat about it now. So yeah, it starts from one end, gets really, really big in the middle, and then goes out to the other end. And the idea with these long bits that I've left at the end is that they have a knot in, like that in the shawl, just because I love the interlacing play of colours when knotted. So yeah, I will insert a picture of me wearing this because it'll be way easier than me trying to put it on now. But yeah, that was a long way to say I have finished it. Yeah, finished the knitting anyway. I have the pattern still to finish writing up. I've got as far as the split for the garter stitch section here, and I have the charts for the decrease back down again over this end, but I just need to write it all up basically. So the bit in the centre to add the garter stitch centre piece is going to be easy to write up. It won't take me too long at all because the pattern is already set for the lace panels. There's a bit of short rows in the centre, but again I think it'll be quite easy to write up. And then the bit that might take a bit more time again is the why I decrease back down the other side, because although it almost mirrors the increase, obviously it's decreased and it's lots and lots of rows. I think it's about 90 rows of decreasing just in the lace section. So yeah, it will take me a minute, and my time to write patterns at the moment isn't a lot, it's quite limited. So it's going to take me a minute, but I kind of would like for this pattern to be in testing in the new year, ready for like a late spring release maybe. So I've got some time. I've got some time to mess with it. And let's be honest, people aren't going to have loads of time for stuff over this Christmas period, and I'm not going to have loads of time for this sort of stuff over Christmas period. So it's fine. I will take my time. I've taken my time this far. It took a year to get it off the needles. I started it in November last year and it came off the needles in November this year. So yeah, I don't do things quickly, I'm afraid. I do apologise. I talk quickly, but I don't knit quickly. I do kind of knit quickly. I don't design that quickly. Yeah. So let's talk about my other project that you will have seen before. I think the only other time I've chatted about this project, well, first of all, I chatted about the yarn because it was a hand spun of mine. So I think that shows up somewhere in one of the episodes. But otherwise, the only other place you would have seen this project was if you'd seen my post-holiday knitting rundown episode, whatever I called it. I can't exactly remember now. Yeah, so, oh my goodness, I've got another project on top of it, and I've managed to tie up all the balls of yarn. Here we go. This isn't going to be the easiest thing to show you because it's on a cable that's a bit too small for it really, and it's got no neckline yet. My plan was to add in the neckline once I finish one of the balls in the body, and then come back to finish the body and the sleeves, but I haven't finished one of the balls yet. This yarn's going really, really far. Much further than I thought it would be. I'm going to have quite a lot left over, I think. So, this is my Karamelli sweater. And this is made, like I've just given away, from my own hand spun. And this is my first time using my hand spun for a garment. And you might remember when I've chatted about this before, that I was saying that I had one ball of hand spun that was a lot thicker than the rest, where I got better. And that is well, this is the thicker one, and that's the thinner one. And yeah, so what I'd said that I was going to do was stripe them in the first, well, when I cast on, I was going to stripe the two together, so the thicker one with one of the ones that's thinner, so that the thicker skein of yarn blended into the sweater like throughout, rather than just being thick in one place and then moving on to thinner fabric later on, if you see what I mean. And that's what I've done. And when I hold it like that, I don't think you can tell. And I definitely don't think you can tell in the body, because in the body it's only like one round per yarn. In the top where it was knit flat, like when I was first knitting it, it was a bit more obvious. But I'm not sure it really actually tells, which is what I was hoping for. Again, you can kind of see it on the back there. No, it's not obvious enough that I think the camera's picking it up, so hopefully that's a good sign that I've got away with it, and certainly blogging will help too. So yeah, I've made pretty good progress on this, I think. I think the last time I showed it, I literally had the back panel, and the back panel, let me try and put it against myself so I can show you, was this bit here, and then down to wherever it was down here somewhere. So it wasn't very much knitting I had, so since then I've added both shoulders, done the front, and now I'm on the body. So yeah, I split for the sleeves there. Oh no, I joined in the round for the sleeves, sorry. Didn't really split for the sleeves in the way this one's constructed, but yeah. That's how much body I've done. The body on this one is meant to be quite oversized, I think, but then tape it in as it gets to your hips. So I think I've got one more decrease round to do before I've hit the stitch count for the tapering. The only place that I've deviated from the pattern from this so far has been to, I think it's meant to be 6 rounds in between the decrease round, or is it 6 rounds including the decrease round? I think it's 6 rounds including the decrease round, then a decrease, but the body was much more cropped than I intended for it to be for myself, so I increased that to 8 rounds, so an 8 round repeat instead of a 6 round repeat, so just to make the body a bit longer, but still evenly space those decreases. So yeah, once I've done that final decrease round, I think I will still be adding more length. I think the pattern calls for a total length before the ribbing of about 7 inches, and then it's about 3 inches of rib. But I might still go a bit longer than wherever I fall, and then, yeah, I'll maybe try it on and see. That's probably the best thing to do, isn't it? So yeah, these are the first 2 balls. So I haven't actually needed to add a new ball yet, which is why I say I think I'm doing really quite well on yarn so far. I've got 3 more skeins of this, and yeah, I'm going to have loads left, I think, at this rate. I've definitely got enough to play with to be adding extra length to the body, which is good. So yeah, really pleased with how my first hand spun garment is coming up. I look forward to wearing this. Yeah, so that leads me on. I'm trundling through this quite quickly now, but that's kind of what I hoped. I didn't want to be up here speaking to the camera forever. Mainly because I literally sat down to finish the project I'm about to show you, or carry on with the project I meant to show you. And I thought, actually, I've got loads of knitting to show. Why don't I just go and record quickly? So this is super on the fly. Yeah, exciting. Anyway, I didn't even drink some of that. Yeah. So, the next project I've got to show you is again another complete spur of the moment on a whim cast on, and the reason for that was because both my work and my uni friends we're doing Secret Santas this year, so I've got 2 Secret Santas to take part in, and the one for my uni friends I sorted and is a really lovely present, and I'm really happy with that one. They will love it. We don't do a who's picked who Secret Santa with them. We basically just take our presents, stick them all in a black sack, and then pull out one, like when you pull out a name from a hat. And then if you pick your own, you just stick your own back in and pick someone else's, basically. So it hasn't got anyone particularly in mind. It's always a bit jokey. Mine's not actually jokey this year, but we do a mix, so yeah. With my work Secret Santa, that's a little bit, I say it's awkward, it's not awkward. We've picked the person that we're buying for, and I've only been there since September, and the person that I've got is someone I speak to most days, but only briefly. Like, I don't know loads and loads about her. So the Secret Santa's been a little bit difficult. So I got a present which I thought was fairly safe and is an alcoholic present. And then after buying it, I was like, but what if she doesn't drink? Like, I'm pretty sure I've had a conversation with her about like having a glass of wine in the evening or something. But have I? Like, actually, I can't remember now. And because I don't know her super well, and I don't also give away that she's my Secret Santa, I just suddenly went, oh. So she's still going to get that present, but I also stash dive, and I have started some bed socks. Your basic bed socks. I said that really awfully, but that's what the pattern's called. Your basic bed socks, YA. And that is a pattern by the Woolly Badger. And I've knit these before. I knit a pair for me a couple years ago, and they are just some super snuggly, chunky bed socks. And this is actually, I picked 3 yarns to hold together. I didn't gauge swatch, I just had a guess, and I think it's worked. So my yarns are, so yeah, first sock, Ho, as you can see, this is the finished one. And again, I don't even know what size feet she is, so it fits me really nicely, but I think I'm going to take the toe off and add a couple more rows just to be on the safe side, because actually if she's significantly bigger footed than me, I'm a size 5, UK 5, so if she's like a size 7 or 8, then they might be too snug, so I might just add a couple more rows on and then redo the toe. So that's the first one, and this is my second one. So this one I'm just about ready to start the heel flap. And yeah, these have knit up really super quick. I started these after the kids got home from school yesterday. I finished the first one last night. I started the cuff of the second one like two or three rows before going to bed last night too. And then my son got up really early again this morning, so I managed to then get the leg done this morning before going to work. So yeah, I'm super pleased with the yarns I picked for this. Like, isn't that just really pretty? Like, I wish these were for me, really. I don't think I'll have enough left over of all 3 to make a second pair out of, but I would be super tempted to. The yarns that I am using are leftovers. Well, actually, this isn't a leftover. This one was some Rico Essentials DK or something like that, which I picked up bargain price from a shop that was closing down in Bristol several years ago. So that's the Rico. This one is some John Arbon Textiles Knit by Numbers. There. And that was a few years ago. My mum signed me up to be a mill member as a Christmas present, and with the mill membership you got a free skein of yarn, and that was the one that came free. And I used some of it on something else. I can't even remember what it was. I've no idea. Completely can't remember. But I had like a good 50 grams or more left. So that's the second one. And then the third one is this one, which is some Debbie Bliss Baby Cashmerino DK. So I've actually ended up putting 2 DKs and a fingering together. So it's actually probably thicker fabric than the pattern was intended for. I couldn't tell you if the gauge matches because I haven't checked. I think it's probably a little bit tighter than it was meant for gauge, but it's also super stretchy, so it's fine. It will fit. And yeah, those are my 3 colours. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased with those, and I will have that finished tonight. And then that'll be the safety net present that will go in with the Secret Santa present for my work colleague. So yeah, hopefully next year I know all of my work colleagues a little bit better and Secret Santa will be easier. We will see. I feel like I really have whistle-stop-toured through this, but yeah, hopefully that's better than my hour-long episode that I've managed. 45 minutes to an hour I've managed in the last few, so I certainly prefer recording the shorter ones. They're much easier to edit. Finally, the last thing I wanted to talk about, or the last thing I wanted to do, was my little Patterns That Tempt Me segment. I haven't managed to do this segment for the last few weeks, or the few episodes, and quite frankly because I've not really been super inspired by an awful lot. I think, as you could tell from my last episode about my yarn overwhelm, I found it all a bit overwhelming recently. I think the fact that life is fluttering by so quickly is all a bit overwhelming, and I haven't really managed to find much inspiration from many places recently. But the inspiration for the pattern that I'm going to talk about in a second is through now having a job where I leave the house and wear kind of I don't need to be super profesh looking, but I like a nice jumper and trousers, or a cardigan and trousers together is kind of the look I go for basically on my daily get up and wear. So that's given me inspiration to like look at my wardrobe and I'm missing things, certainly from my knitwear. And I definitely feel like I'm missing a nice staple cardigan. So the pattern that's tempting me this week is, I've forgotten what it's called. It's a petite knit pattern. Let me look it up. In fact, I sent the link to my mum on WhatsApp only just last night or the night before, so that should be the easiest way for me to find it. I can't believe I've forgotten. April Cardigan by Petite Knit. And the reason for this pattern is because I just think it'd just be really easy to wear with like just a standard t-shirt to work. I think it would be really nice and warm and snuggly because it's a 4-ply with a mohair or a fluff held together. And yeah, I feel like I need something just straightforward and easy in my wardrobe. So not only is that pattern tempted me, but it's on once I get the yarn, it's going to be on my needles. So it's not just a pattern that's tempted me, it's going to happen. The yarn for it, I still haven't bought yarn. I should have looked up how many days it's been now since I've not bought yarn, because that can become a bit of a running thing, couldn't it? But anyway, it's not yarn that's been bought. The yarn I've got for it is, did I show in the last episode I had some black alpaca 4-ply? So that I am going to couple with a yarn that's coming out of my mum's stash. Now, I was going to buy this yarn off her because it's beautiful yarn from, I think, Dina's Home of Crafts. So I was going to buy it off her. But she's said that she doesn't want payment for it because I let her have my Stranded Dye Works yarn for her over the ocean jumper. So I guess you could call it a swap. So I'm taking that off her hands. Next time I podcast, I'm sure I will show it. I don't actually have it on me yet. I'm not seeing her till next week. Hence why it's not already started. So yeah, I'm going to pair that with my black 4-ply, and it's just going to be a nice straightforward cardigan to wear to work. Work sensible. So yeah, that's everything I think I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's been nice having a quick chat to you. Apologise if it's again been a little bit hectic. I literally sat on the sofa to knit and then decided to come film, and that's about as much planning that's gone into this episode today. But you know what? Sometimes I think they're my better episodes. So fingers crossed you liked it. Thank you for being here once again. Thank you for watching if you're new, and I will catch you again next time. Bye bye.